Hey y'all, it's Katie and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got 6 tips for beginners and how you can rock your very first Deka race. So let's go. So if this is your very first Deka race, I can imagine you've got a lot of things going through your brain. You're probably pretty excited, but also maybe a little nervous and maybe don't know what to expect or how to plan for it really. So here are 6 tips to help you get through the race on race day. First tip is team up with a seasoned Deka friend. This is one of my favorite ways on how to introduce somebody to Deka because it totally takes the expectation off the newbie and it just allows them to have a ton of fun. This allows you to jump in and do the work you want to, but when you're ready to step back and take a rest, you can because your teammate will jump in and do some work for you. So this is a really nice way to dip your toe in the water and get used to Deka without having to do all the work by yourself. Tip number 2 is go slow at first. This is all about pacing, making sure that you don't go super fast and super hard out of the gate because you'll regret that later. So in the first 6, the lunges through the farmer carry, you want to make sure that you're reserving a little bit, that you're not going all out and pushing yourself to your limits because those last 4 are very challenging. So you want to make sure you save a little energy in the tank so when you get there, you'll still have energy for the last 4. So maybe right before you start, take a very big, deep breath, kind of release all that adrenaline and that hype and just center yourself and tell yourself to go a little bit slow. Even if you need to do that before every zone, before you get on the rower, deep breath, go a little slower. Because on race day, especially your very first race day, you might go a little bit faster than you should at the beginning and then burn out before the end. So don't do that. Tip number 3 is block up the reps, especially if you're doing a solo for your very first race, you wanna block up the reps. If you can't do a full set of, let's say 30 lunges in a row, that's okay, block it up. 10, rest, 10, rest, 10, or even 15, 2 sets. Whatever that looks like for you, if you need to stop and take a rest, do that when you need to, before you need to. So you don't wanna go all the way to your limits, let's say do like 18 until you physically can't lift the ram anymore, and then you're stuck. You'll be resting a lot more frequently after that. So make sure you rest before you need to. And this applies to races across the board. If you're doing your first hyrox, your first deadly dozen, any of those races, and you get fatigued, stop before you need to take that rest. Tip number 4 is go off of feel and RPE. If you don't know what RPE is, it stands for rate of perceived exertion. And I have a whole video on it up here somewhere, so make sure you check that out if you're not sure what that means. Basically, we're just gonna go off of the feel and how you feel at the moment. If you need to take a rest, let your body take a little rest. Even if that's just one stop, full deep breath, and continue. If you have something like a heart rate monitor on you, that can also help you gauge when you need to rest. If you're peaking up into that zone 5 a whole lot, then you might need to bring that back down a smidge, especially in that front half. But it just depends on what you feel like. And maybe that's not even a full rest. Maybe you just slow down the pace of your movements and allow yourself to breathe a little bit more while you're working. Number 5, and this is a hard one, don't set expectations. I know if you're doing these races, there's a good chance you're probably fairly competitive. And I've been asked this so many times, what's a good time for your first Deka event? And honestly, the best time is the one that you're going to put up. It's a personal benchmark. There's nothing that says you have to get under a specific time for your very first event. So let's just take those expectations and throw them out. And especially with your first race, it's always just so much fun and you get this very big sense of accomplishment, achievement. So don't focus on the time, just focus on getting it done and having fun in the process. Because that's ultimately what Deka is all about. It's celebrating the journey that it took to get you there and celebrating your fitness in general. But if you do want to find some goals for yourself with your very first event, here's tip number 6. Set some non-time oriented goals. So maybe for you, your very first event, that might look like not touching your hand on the box when you're stepping over. Maybe that means you hold on to the farmer weight for an extra 10-meter stretch than you did in practice. That could be good pacing. Maybe that front half you went a little bit slower and more controlled, so you had more energy in the back half. It could be getting your Deka trifecta for the year, or maybe even just emptying your tank. So by the end of the burpees, you feel like you really expended all your energy and you did your best effort that day. That is the most amazing feeling at the end of a race. So setting these non-time-based goals helps you to have something to reach for, but not to have pressure on going super fast, but rather having quality during your race and focusing on different things that you can improve through your training. And once you have that first benchmark, then you can work on tracking your splits, improving your times, and other things, which I'm gonna get to in next week's video. But I hope those tips help you at your very first Deca event. Let me know in the comments which one helped you the most. And if you want to level up your race day, I have 3 different resources to help you. First off is my freebie, the Ultimate Race Day Packing List, which will make sure you never forget a race essential again. Second is my ebook, Race Day Ready, where we dive into data tracking, race strategy, and how to plan your race day. Or third, if you're ready to level up your training, I have a program, Hybrid Strength, which will help you gear up for your next race or adventure. And best of luck at your first Deca event. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!